happen to be in St. Louis. I just happen to be here when their little pop-up is starting. So what is FlyLeaf?
We started out actually making a decorative planter. We thought that we would produce artistic goods for people in their homes, and we wanted to display them with succulents and tropicals. But when we got to looking around for succulents, we realized that we needed to reach further to get more plants to suit our needs. So
you're saying that there is a dearth of plants in the St. Louis area, and you wanted to fill that niche first.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we realized probably within the first 2 events that people did like the initial designed pot that we were putting out, but they loved succulents far more. So we scrapped everything and started growing plants. We do this on the 4th Saturday of every month, and then in October we'll be doing 1 day, but that will also be, as I mentioned, our Plants for Cans program. So we ask for 2 cans of food. In exchange, they get a ticket for a free plant. They come in, pick their plant, and we donate the food.
That's great. I mean, I really love, you bring people in with the plants, and then you give some goodness both ways. It's like a win-win situation. And is it here also at the church all the time? Is it is there a pantry associated with the church, or where does that?
There's not a pantry associated with the church. We take it to a place called Feed My People, which I don't recall the name of the street, but they like to have food, and we like to provide it.
Yeah. Well, you started with succulents. Obviously, you have some tropicals out there and some here. But what were some of your ones when you launched this company? Maybe show us some of the plants that were like real big hits that people really loved, or that you've expanded into and that are kind of cool.
You know what's fascinating is, and I think all of us have talked about it, I think we've all thought that this one, people have been begging for it for a long time. We get it in this month and everybody loves it, and it's gone in 3.5 minutes. And then we do it again the next month and no one on earth wants it. Nobody's even heard of it.
These are really cool. They're like little bonsais too.
I'm a huge fan of that one.
Forms.
We buy those in plugs. The grower has them potted all the way up right immediately beneath the foliage. So we take them out, remove a little bit of that soil on top to expose the caudex. I mean, they're a fascinating little plant.
And then even these that are like the cristate forms, that have this kind of like unusual growth form, and they're fuzzy too. I mean, tactile, I always feel like tactile plants are people absolutely love.
I think those are one that have been popular every time we have them available. These, I'm a huge fan of those. I've got one growing in my living room at home that this year, for the first time, it's taken off quite a bit this year.
This one's actually has a nice reversion back into the green form too.
One of the most difficult parts about this job is not claiming them all for myself.
Of course.
I told someone recently that I've got a plant hoarding problem that I need to deal with. And I'm trying to do that. There are several of these.
What are some of your favorites? Show us around.
The Astrophytum is one that, for whatever reason, we can't find them in trade, neither in plug nor finished.
I mean, these are huge in Thailand. people have so many different types of cultivars of these, and oftentimes they grow them from seed, which takes forever, obviously.
Yep.
That might be one of the reasons why you can't, and they're a huge collector plant, so might be hard to find because of that reason.
and those are some that I've had for 4 or 5 months at least, and have a very difficult time turning loose of them.
Yeah, so parting from them, you mean?
Right. Yes, I want them all.
Otherwise, these are on his windowsill in normal times, which is why they're all in black. He has them all matched up and on his windowsill.
But then I have to remind myself that if I hoard all of the plants, we no longer have a business.
Exactly.
Then goes the home, then goes the van. The Urania, I'm a big fan of, and really I'm learning.
Well, look at this one. This one's cristate on one side and normal on the other. Yeah, that's pretty neat.
This Gasteria.
Gasteria, that's pretty. It has this nice like white swipe in there. Yeah. Is that a specific cultivar?
Yep, Sakura Fuji.
Sakura Fuji. It's beautiful. I haven't seen that cultivar before. Gasteria are like some of those plants that
that's a showstopper.
Oh, the Batesiana variegata. These grow nice and long, and I always find that these are great desk plants for folks. You know, they don't need that harsh southern light like some plants. They often hide out under plants in the native environment. So if somebody wants a succulent and they don't have a southern or western window, this is actually a really good option.
Yeah. In fact, all of these are some that I'm freeing to the world, but they've been in a room that gets almost zero natural light, a little bit indirect, and then there's artificial lighting, but probably 10 or so feet away. So they get neglected. I mean, there's just, they don't receive much light, and they're happy about life.
I don't want to run over the aloes, but like you have a nice little tri-aloe. I've never seen it where it's like mixed aloes. Looks like an aloe nobilis. This might be a Christmas. I'm not sure with this one. The cultivars are hard to know.
Yeah, very much so.
Deltoida odonta. I love my aloes too. It's like you could go deep into the aloes as well. Lots of different kinds.
Yes, this is a new one that we're carrying, Delta Lights. Just a little brighter than White Fox.
And it has a real. I have a large one. Although it was rotting on one side, I think I overwatered it on one side, so I ripped that one off, and I'm hoping that the rest of it is saved. It has a few pups too, and I ripped those off, and I'm like, okay, dry away, dry. But it has a really nice prostrate habit where it just kind of flattens out. Some of them you see kind of growing up, but this one kind of grows a little flat.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Some display plants. You have to show that it's display.
This one actually belongs to Teresa. She brought it in this morning to show me that was one that she bought at our first event, which was May of 2019.
So you could say, hey, this is what it will actually grow into.
Yep.
That's nice.
We want to do that more and more, but our space is somewhat limited.
Yeah. And the vehicle outside that we saw, that's where you're packing your plants in and you're bringing them in.
Yes. We have bread crates, I think they might be called, and milk gallon holders. Are just big plastic things. Put plants in, stack them, rope them to the walls, and travel.
This is a really neat Echeveria.
I love that one too.
Look at the shape of it. And it has like these little red undersides, just a little tinge. Spruce Oliver, it's another cultivar I had never heard of. Very pretty geometry.
The Mammillaria magnamama is one that I keep on seeing on a Geico commercial, and I keep on meaning to pause the television while the little lizard is up there and take a picture in. But I forget.
Pencil stick cactus. And I like how you have a number of these planted up with this black sandy lava. Is that what it is?
It's actually an aquarium substrate, I think they refer to it. I've wanted black sand for quite a long time, but I don't know where else to get it other than Hawaii. And while I'd love to go there, I don't think they'd like me to harvest their beaches.
Yeah, probably not.
But looking in a pet store, they had that available, and if it's safe for fish, it's safe for plants.
Yeah. And you have a number of these ones that have this like crispate or Monstros habit. Do people tend to understand that and like it? I love how these look like they're knitted together.
It changes. You know, the Ming thing was popular for a minute. I would say cacti in general aren't the fastest sellers, but I'm a huge fan, so we continue to stock them and get more and more. And I probably don't post about them enough or write about them enough to convince people that you need a few in your home.
I think what you're probably also finding when you're selling these things, and what you had already intimated, is that trends move fast in the plant market. And I think it's because of social media. You're like, see one thing and then you want the next. Being a plant hoarder, you probably understand that.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah. And so you expanded from succulents. Did you move out? What was like kind of some of the other ones that you moved out to?
Patio fruits, tropicals, air plants. We also have a few friends that we work with. So this is a local artist that puts these together. Lindsay's daughter does the little plant jewelry up there. Oh yeah, and then another friend does the macrame plant hangers.
That's cool. So cool.
We want to help. We want to help artists, crafters. I think it would be great if we could help kids understand a tiny bit about business.
Yeah.
And get some other people a foothold.
Well, that's cool that you actually provide a space for people to show their wares, as it relates to your business, and that you're supporting them in that kind of capacity. It seems like you're really much for the community as well, which is wonderful. Ruskias, I like these. You very rarely see them. Have a nice kind of draping habit.
Almost like a creeping juniper.
Yeah, you're right. Very much so. So it's cute. You offer the whole package. It's like kind of soup to nuts in a pop-up. So you're not just getting a plant, but you could get little planters to go with it.
And then we blend our own fertilizer, mix our own soil blend. A lot of what we want to do is get beyond the social media bang and help people to truly understand plants in kind of in their simplest form. We set up a potting bench out there and help people people are allowed to bring their own pots in and do it themselves if they like. They can buy a pot here. We're happy to help, but we want to help people understand plants and be successful with their plants.
So what's your ultimate goal? Do you think you want to actually have a brick and mortar at some point, or do you like the pop-up style? Are you kind of just like, a lot of people when they do pop-ups say they're sticking their toe in the water and they're saying, is this something that I could see doing as a permanent?
It was built initially to be perfectly mobile without knowing exactly where it was going to go. Obviously the pop-up model got sent, but Jill and I in a couple of weeks close on 15 acres, about an hour south of here.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We won't have a home. We'll live in an RV. We're going to build a greenhouse first, of course. But
priorities, priorities.
The idea there is we're working on a book and educational program called Horticulture for Employment. I want to help people see that there are a great number of different paths and opportunities that you can build a life on.
And now you're really coming back to something that you feel like is very manageable for you and that you very much enjoy. And then you're staying mobile and kind of playing it by ear. Sounds like you have a bit of a plan to have your greenhouse, grow some of these plants while still keeping it mobile and opening up to the public. And it's nice to hear that you have this real educational element to it. So, the plants kind of bring the people in, but you're trying to bring that education. And you're bringing the stories up front. I'm looking at this.
Yes.
And I think that's just like so fun to see, somebody's handmade work. It gives a sense of life to it. I think this is marvelous. Thank you so much, Andrew, for
You're
sharing
very
your
welcome.
story. Yeah, absolutely.